I'm John Evans. Welcome to another episode of One on One. The Walking Dead, Stranger Things, The Hunger Games. Pretty impressive for one actor to have all three of those productions on their resume, especially if the actor is just 13 years old. Elle Graham of Hampstead appeared in all of those productions, and she's riding a wave of popularity right now, thanks in part to being one of the stars on the hit Disney show The Secrets of Sulphur Springs, now in its third season. And Elle also has a major role in a brand new movie. It's called Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. It opens in theaters all across the country this weekend. Elle Graham, welcome to the One on One with John Evans podcast.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Congratulations. Your career is like going this way. It's not even marginal anymore. It is almost straight up and skyrocketing. In the new movie, you play Nancy Wheeler, who is Margaret's first friend in her new town. Tell me about this role.
Well, when I got the audition for this role, I immediately read the book about 2 times and I fell in love with the role Nancy. My mom had read the book multiple times when she was younger, and I had never played a role so funny and with such wit like Nancy before.
And how long did it take you to get into the character? Because you're not like Nancy. Nancy's not really a very nice person sometimes, is she?
No, 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 not at all. Well, me and the other kids on set, we had such a strong connection when we first met each other that doing these silly scenes and some of these mean scenes, it was just kind of like a silly and fun, comfortable situation to be in. So all of it kind of flew together.
Now, I have read in an interview, you said your approach to taking on roles is kind of, you put on like a bodysuit. I think you described it as a big onesie of
Yeah.
the character that you take on, and you immerse yourself in it. How did you learn that, and how good a technique is that for Elle?
Well, I had an amazing acting coach in Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Her name was Miss Sarah, and she helped all of us kids. And I just found that if I recognized it as being somebody else and not letting like my own personality traits come out into the character, then I can fully embody this character that I'm playing.
Do you find it difficult to take on roles that are, somewhat that you don't have the experience in, almost like a Nancy Wheeler?
Yeah, well, this definitely, it was very difficult at first. I had never really done much improv before. I had never played a mean character. And I hadn't actually worked with kids that much prior to filming this. So it was all really new, but just the strong connection that the crew and the cast had on set, it just made everybody so comfortable.
You had a lot of experience for someone who is just 13 years of age. What do you learn every time? Do you try to take something away from every movie role, every TV role that you've done so far?
Of course, and every actor and actress that I meet, I try to take something from them as well. I have learned so many things on each set. I just pick up something and I move it to my next one. And I mean, I wouldn't be the same without the Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret experience. I think it's helped me grow so much.
And how have you grown? I mean, how did you grow in this role, and what did you take away from this one especially?
One specifically showed me how important it is to have a good relationship with the cast around you and how such a strong connection, like all of us did, like all the crew. I love the director and I love all the producers, how feeling comfortable in the set can make you produce some really good work. And also, I had never done improv before. So this was a new thing for me. I didn't really know how to just come up with lines on the spot.
Were you familiar with the book before you got the role?
Well, when I got the original audition, I read the book a couple times, but before the audition, I had not heard of the book. I knew I had heard of Judy Blume, just not this specific book.
You've had the opportunity to work with some pretty high caliber talent in your career. In this film, you work with Rachel McAdams and Kathy Bates. James L. Brooks produced this, and of course, he's a legend in the entertainment community. What do you take away from some of these legendary actors or some of these actors that have done roles like Kathy Bates? She's done so many different kinds. Do you sit there and watch them? Do you study them? What do you take away? And are you better after working with them?
Well, I didn't actually get to meet Kathy Bates, but seeing her on screen, her humor in this show and the way that she plays the grandma so well, I mean, it's absolutely amazing. You can just tell the family bond that her, Rachel, and Abby have. And as for Rachel McAdams, she is one of the nicest people I've ever met. And meeting her, I think every actor should get a chance to meet somebody so grounded as she is. And she's truly just a beautiful artist.
I've talked to a lot of actors, a lot of performers, and I think the public and the moviegoer has an idea that this is all glitz and glamour when you're doing this. But
Mhm.
many actors have told me it's not that way, that there's a lot of hard work, there are a lot of long days, there are a lot of tough days. What's it
Mhm.
like that maybe the public doesn't know about?
Yeah, well, I can work up to 8 hours a day and I can be there the whole time. Sometimes I am working most of that time. We have a couple breaks. And I absolutely, I mean, I love acting, but it can be hard, especially on emotional scenes, on emotional days. Those are really draining. And at the end of the day, you're so tired, and then you have to wake up at 4 in the morning for the next shoot. But for me, just meeting so many people and just being a part of the movie and the experience, it just overcomes all of the rest.
Along with this new film now, you're also in season 3 of playing Savannah on the hit Disney show The Secrets of Sulphur Springs. I've seen you do a bunch of interviews for that show. I've seen you do several Zoom interviews with different correspondents. What makes that show so appealing in your mind?
Well, I think Secrets of Sulphur Springs, it's a family mystery show. So it's not limited to just little kids or just adults. It's a series for all ages to watch.
Did you notice something different on the set of that show when you got there? I mean, you've done a lot of different projects, but when you stepped on that or when you started working on that, did you sense anything different that, uh-oh, this one has a chance to be several seasons in?
Well, I Sulphur Springs was my first time really working with a group of kids. And when we first had the first table read for the pilot, I absolutely fell in love with the script. I wanted to read them like books. And after we finished the first season and we heard like what people were saying about it, we hoped and we prayed that we would get a second season because we just loved working with each other and working with all the directors.
And what's it been like now to have more notoriety than you've had in the past? To get a second and now a third season. And let's face it, I've seen you on magazine covers. I've seen you being talked to on the red carpet. What's that life like? It's a lot different than Hampstead, North Carolina.
Yeah, I'd say I'm not fully used to it. I don't think that you can ever really get fully used to it. And I wouldn't say I get noticed too often, but when I do, I feel like most of the time I'm more nervous and awkward than the other people coming up to me. But I'm just excited to put a smile on people's face and that they're enjoying the work that I've worked on with other people.
On one magazine, it said, Secrets of Sulphur Springs star Elle Graham tells you why you are awesome. Pretty cool for a 13-year-old.
Yeah, well, that specific article, I was really excited about that because I believe everybody's awesome and everybody's unique in their own way. And so whenever I was getting interviewed for it, it just kind of what's the word for that? Flowed out, I guess. Um, I love the importance of self-care and just loving yourself and loving your friends and family. So that was a really cool heading to be a part of.
Who keeps Elle grounded?
Definitely my family and my friends. My mom, she's in the theater business and she's kind of in the acting community as well. And she helps remind me it takes a village. A lot of I think some people they get lost in the acting business and they believe maybe they're the best or they are like better than others, but I think that the people in front of the camera and the people behind the camera are just equal. They're the same. And that keeps me grounded. And of course, having four crazy siblings and lots of silly friends keep me grounded as well.
So I guess around the house, you're not Elle the actor. You're,
Oh,
hey,
no.
Elle, it's your turn to do the dishes, or it's your turn
Oh
to
yeah.
to do things around the house, right?
Yeah, it's Elle, my annoying sister, is what I am around the house.
What have you learned from your mom? She's involved in the theater community. I imagine you've probably watched her work. What have you learned from mom that has made you better?
Well, my mom is super kind and she's very caring. She's also a mental health therapist, so she helps me she helps me work through maybe how some other people are feeling on set. And truly she is so supportive of my acting career, and she tells me all the time if I don't want to do it anymore then I don't have to. And she supports me throughout it all, and she's so proud of me, and I'm so thankful to have her as my number one supporter.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about those two brothers and two sisters that you have. Are any of them interested in acting because of all the things that you've done?
Well, some of them have said like, "Oh, that's so cool," or "I would want to be on something like that." But I think it's just a thought in their head. Because then my older brother, he is 21. He goes to UNC Chapel Hill, and he's going to be a doctor. My younger brother, he's just playing basketball. He loves sports. And then my two little sisters love horseback riding and cheer and gymnastics and stuff. And we do theater together, but other than that, they haven't shown a ton of interest in what I'm doing.
Do you remember your first acting role? I think it was you were at the age of 3, I think, if my research is correct. And my guess is you may not remember that one. But what do you remember your earliest acting memory?
My earliest acting memory is probably Stranger Things. I believe I was like 5 or 6 when I filmed that.
Hmm.
I only remember little bits, but I remember when they were putting the bald cap on me and how I was in that chair for like 6.5 hours or something, like wild, like 4 or 5 hours,
Yeah.
while they put all this makeup on my head. But before that, I really just have stories being told about it from my mom. I don't really remember.
You played Hopper's daughter, who was sick, if I remember correctly, right?
Yes.
What were your memories of being on that show?
I remember I didn't get to meet any of the kids in the cast, but I remember my mom, she was super sad seeing me lay there in the hospital bed. She said it just looked so real. And I had to have this like tube that was like in my mouth. It was like cut off. But they said that when they would say cut, that the directors be like, "Okay, Elle, you can wake up now," and I would just act like I was still laying there, and they'd be like, "Elle, you can wake up now," and I would just pretend that I was just laying there, and my mom would like freak out.
So you were immersed in the role, I take it, right?
Yeah. Also, I was like 6 years old and playing around, and I was a bit of a prankster.
Okay, Elle, let's get real here. Everybody has one of these almost right now, and every one of these smartphones has a camera on it. How careful are you? Because you never know when someone's got a camera and you might not see them, they're taking a picture and they might post it on social media. How knowledgeable are you when you go out, when you're even in school?
Yeah, as for me right now, I haven't found any threats with that, but I do see in the future how that can be a little bit harder. I sometimes when I'm with my family and friends, I can like dance in public or act a little bit wild. And if somebody got a video of me doing that, I think it also, I mean, it can show that I'm human and I'm just a regular teenage girl, but um I would probably feel a little bit uncomfortable with people taking pictures and videos without me knowing or consenting to it. But
Well,
luckily, I haven't run into that threat at this point.
Well, I hope that nothing ever happens. And it's such a danger out there right now. Social media is out there, and you never know when somebody's taking those pictures. You know, people who are in my business in journalism and doing TV news, or people who are on TV or on movies, you almost have to be careful. And that's why I guess I would think mom is a big help, keeping an eye on those kind of things too, right?
Yeah, my mom, she runs my main Instagram. she asks me before she posts a picture of me, or what picture I want to be posted, but she manages it. I don't look at any of my comments, any of my DMs, really anything on there. I have my own Instagram account. It's really small. I follow like 20 people. It's just my friends. Nobody else can follow me. And I have a main TikTok account where I like promote movies that I'm in.
Hmm.
And I have like a private TikTok account for my friends. So she helps me balance it and she helps keeps me safe. And so does my dad.
You're 13, soon to be 14, I guess. How difficult is it to fit acting in and around your schoolwork, or vice versa? When you're acting or when you're on a project, how tough is it to get your schoolwork done when
Yeah.
you know you've got to be up, like you said earlier, 4 o'clock in the morning for an 8 or a 10-hour day?
Well, before about 5 weeks ago, I joined public school, but before that, I was on a hybrid school that was online and in person. So when I was working on a film, just like Secrets of Sulphur Springs, the last 3 weeks of filming, school started back up again, and I would just have to take my computer and print out all my schoolwork. And now that I'm in public school, I've only had to leave for my one big LA trip, but this is probably going to be my last quarter that I'll ever be able to do with public school.
Hmm.
So I just wanted to get like a normal teenager experience in.
And that's my next question. How tough is it to have that normal teenage experience when you're in movies and on TV?
Yeah, well, I think it's definitely more, I think it's a little bit more difficult when you're not constantly surrounded by a ton of people your age or in a huge public school. But I have many friends here in my hometown, and my parents and all my friends, they've never really failed to make it a normal teenage experience. And in a sense, this is just my normal teenage experience. It's maybe not like my neighbors next door, but it's one that's like personal to me, and I think that that still counts as like a normal teenager experience. I go to birthday parties, I have dinner with my friends, I have sleepovers. I'm just a normal kid.
That's good to hear, because you hear so many tragic stories of people who, let's face it, get a little too big for themselves every once in a while. And a young lady like yourself who has done such great work already at the age of 13, I know folks are hoping that your career just continues to go. What is next? What's on your calendar now? I know season 3 of Sulphur Springs is going. I know the new movie is out, but what are you looking to do next?
Well, I'm excited for every audition I get, and that's what I'm hoping on now. I'm hoping for more auditions and just more opportunities, but I know that they'll come when the time's right.
Are you getting more calls now because of the popularity?
I haven't I think my manager kind of handles that stuff, so I don't know directly. I have gotten an audition, but there is kind of an ongoing writer's strike right now, so there is a lot less pilots right now.
Well, we hope that things continue to go well for you, and I know any audition that you try, you're going to nail the part. Once again, the movie is called Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Look for Elle Graham playing Nancy Wheeler, and she's also one of the stars of the Disney hit show The Secrets of Sulphur Springs. Season 3 is now streaming. Elle, congratulations on your success. I appreciate you finding some time and joining us for the One on One with John Evans podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
A big thank you to Elle Graham for joining us for this week's podcast interview. You can follow her on social media. She's active on Instagram and other platforms. Of course, she's busy with the 3rd season of the hit Disney show, The Secrets of Sulphur Springs. And look for her in the brand new movie, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, which opens all across the country this weekend. Now, before we go, I'd like to ask you a favor. Please follow or subscribe to the One on One with John Evans podcast on whatever app you use to listen to your favorite shows. And if you'd be so kind, please leave us a rating or a review. The more feedback we get from friends like you, the higher we'll be listed on the apps, the better chance we'll have of bringing in even more new listeners. I'm John Evans. Thanks so much for joining us for this episode of One on One.